Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you are new here, and welcome to another 25 creepy things that kids say. If you guys are interested in part 1, 2, and 3 of this video, I will link them down below, or you can just find them on your own. It's up to you. You don't really have to watch them in any particular order. And yeah, we're almost halfway through this entire list of 271 things that kids say that are creepy. I was explaining to my niece the difference between things that can and can't change about people. She was confused because she met a set of 3 siblings and the eldest wasn't the tallest. So I told her that one day even she, an itty-bitty 4-year-old, could be taller than me, a huge grown-up person. But even if she was taller, I would always be older. She looked at me serious as anything and says, "You'll be dead sooner too." Why are children so brutal? I woke up to find my 3-year-old son lying in bed next to me. I asked how he got in my bed, and he said he came to protect me from the light eyes that were standing over me while I slept. Not really sure what that means, but okay. I'm a nanny for a toddler who's still learning to talk. As we walked through our local cemetery, which is normal for our neighborhood, she pointed at the area above the grave saying, "People, look, people," over and over again. Well, my dear, I think that toddler sees something you don't. Driving along with my 3-year-old, "It's okay, Mommy." Me, "What's okay?" "My stepmother will be nice to me, not like Cinderella." "Okay, what stepmother?" "I'm very happily married to her dad." "The one I'll get when you die." "Wait, how am I going to die?" "A robber is going to come in the window and shoot you." "Are you worried about Mommy dying?" "No, because my stepmom's going to be really nice." The entire conversation was totally calm on her side. In our old house, my daughter would refuse to sleep in her room. She would come downstairs and say things were moving, but the scariest one was when she came downstairs in tears and said, "Something was tickling my back, but I can't see it." I've never made her sleep alone again. We put her bed in my son's room after that and since moved from the house, where all of us had experiences much worse than she had. My 3-year-old daughter and I were talking to her older brother on FaceTime when she starts screaming and squirming. She said, "Mommy, my papi is here." Both her grandfathers had passed away before she was born. I said, "Who? What papi? And where is he?" She points to my phone as we're talking to my son and says, "He's standing behind Eric," pointing at my phone. My son turned around to look from his phone and chatting with us. When my fully charged phone then dies, she said, "Papi did that." Well, let me tell you. Ghosts and electronics. In the middle of the night, my little sister turned to me and said, "Do you hear them talking?" It was dead silent. I have a much younger cousin that always calls his parents by their first names. When he was about 3 or 4, he started talking about his real parents that were killed in a car accident. My aunt and uncle are his biological parents. He was an uneasy baby too, and my dad often looked at him and would say he doesn't want to be here. Oh. I used to work at a daycare that was adjacent to a large cemetery. Sometimes the kids would gather at the fence and stare into the cemetery, talking about a little boy they wanted to play with. As it turns out, the part of the cemetery that bordered the fence was the same part where all the kids and babies were buried. It really freaked some of us out. When my niece was around 3 or 4 years old, she told me she used to have a baby, but it drowned. The baby was called Peanut Butter, but still. I have a 3-year-old daughter. She tells me that a red man comes into her room at night through her window. She said he hurts her and stares at her while she's in her bed. I have no idea where she would have got material for a story like that. I've locked her window for her and pulled the blinds in an attempt to convince her that no one is getting through her window. Sometimes in the morning, she'll say, "It didn't work, Mama. Consequences got in last night again." This thing is called consequences? What? When my youngest child was about 6, she asked me how old I was. Now, being only 37 at the time, I was thinking I had a few good years left, but when I told her my age, she gasped and said, "Mom, you're almost dead." At my grandmother's funeral, my then 2-year-old daughter crawled up on the kneeler and patted my grandmother's chest, turned around, looked at my dad, and said, "Grandma's happy." I can't with some children. My youngest of 3 boys at 3 years old just asked my wife, "Mommy, it would be better if you had only 2 sons, wouldn't it?" Somebody has sibling issues. We were on a boat on vacation, and my 4-year-old cousin got really close to me and whispered in my ear, "I want to be a doctor so I can watch children die." Can we get that kid checked, please? My son told me about a dead woman with blue skin, no hair, and black eyes who supposedly lived in our old apartment. He said he watched her follow us outside and try to get in our car, but there was no room, so she stood outside and watched us leave while waving goodbye. Okay. I work with kids on the autism spectrum, and one of them said, "They can see us, but we can't see them." My daughter, who's 3, woke me up in the middle of the night. "Mama, do you hear that breathing?" I told her that it was me breathing. She said in a low voice, "No, Mama, be very quiet and listen." I didn't hear anything, but we slept with the lights on for the rest of the night. My granddaughter Isabella was born 3 months early, spent almost 3 months in the hospital. As soon as my son and my daughter-in-law brought her home, every now and then they would smell cigarette smoke in the house, and neither of them smoked. Isabella would point to the walls whenever this would happen. No one ever mentioned my mom, known as Mimi. As soon as Isabella started talking, she would ask about Mimi. I'm not a church-going person, but I truly believe my mom is visiting her favorite grandson's baby girl. She's now 4 and still occasionally out of the blue will say that she misses her. One night, when my daughter was 2 years old, she woke and could not get back to sleep. I told my husband to stay in bed, and I took our daughter on my lap under a blanket and a chair. We were both a bit drowsy when she suddenly raised her head up and said, "Hello," towards the wall where the door was. As my heart started racing, she continued to have a little conversation if she was on the phone with someone, her face towards one spot. She stopped when I called my husband. Freaky as hell. Jokingly, I asked, "What's the best way to get a girlfriend?" My 7-year-old's response, "Tell her to be my girlfriend or she'll never see her parents again." Playing tea party, little one keeps passing me cake. I dutifully eat each piece she passes me. "It was poison, you died." "Oh, okay then." She then proceeded to chop me up, mix my chopped up parts with some spice in a pot, and then serve the resulting stew to her mother. Edit. We have a lot of these. Figured I'd be the one you guys would get the most this would be the one you guys would get the most out of. We have quite a bit of a morbid little girl. I was babysitting a family friend's kid, and it was just the 2 of us in the home. She looked around and whispered to me, "We're not alone in this house." My son was 4 years old at the time. We were sitting on my mom's front porch, and he got this really scared look on his face and said he wanted to go back in. I asked him what was wrong, and he pointed to the street, where there was nothing, and said the monster was staring at him. Seeing as how I know children can see things we can't, I took that baby inside and said a little prayer. My youngest daughter, who is now 25, used to wake up in the middle of the night between ages 3 and 7, tell me the beautiful angel was in her room watching over her, and that she was dressed in white with glorious white wings. She would say, "Don't you see how beautiful she is, Mommy?" Many years later, between 18 and 22, once again the lady in white would show up and even speak to her. There was one time I actually heard someone say, "Are you all right?" with my own ears plain as day, and thought my daughter was asking me. She turned around and looked at me and said, "Why wouldn't I be okay?" That's when it dawned on me that our angel was asking her, and I had the pleasure of hearing it with my own ears. That is the end of another 25 creepy things that kids say. A lot of those were actually kind of sweet. Aside from talking about killing people and burying them and eating them and all those other things. If you have anything to contribute, please leave it down below in the comment section. Give this video a big thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell, and remember, I upload every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and I cannot wait to see you in the next video.